Howdy doody buckaroonies, and welcome back to another episode of making loud noises until my wife tells me to turn it down. I don't know about you, but I'm a really big fan of little glitchy textures in my music and my sound design. There's something about that futuristic, destroyed sound that just really stands out to me, and I think makes your productions just a little bit more interesting to listen to because it adds a little sprinkle of fairy dust and spicy sauce on top of whatever it is you're making. But normally this stuff can be pretty tedious. There can be a lot of manual chopping involved, bouncing to audio, rinsing and repeating, and so on, so it can be a very time-consuming process. So I'm sure, like many of you, I'm always on the lookout for tools that help make processes like this easier. For whatever reason though, a lot of my favorite glitching plugins seem to have gone the way of the dodo. They've either fallen out of support, ceased development altogether, turned into freeware that is 32-bit only, or just simply disappeared from the internet entirely. So when Devious Machines contacted me to make some presets for their new plugin Infiltrator, I was pretty excited. Infiltrator is a glitchbox / audio processing machine, and it is a whole hell of a lot of fun. In today's video, I wanted to show you what it is, how it works, and share a couple of examples with you. Today's video is also sponsored by Devious Machines, so thank you to them for helping to support the channel. And of course, if you want to check out Infiltrator right now, or any of the other Devious Machines plugins, you can find more information with the link down in the description below. This is Infiltrator, so as always with these types of plugin videos, first up, let's answer the big question: what is this thing and what does it do? Infiltrator is a glitchbox / audio processing unit, as I mentioned. So we've got 10 different slots here up at the top, and each of these slots can host an effect. If we click a slot, we can select an effect. We've got several different filters, and then we've got a bunch of other stuff over here. We've got comb filter, ring mod, phaser, EQ, reverb 2, panning, formant, FM, looper, delay, gain, frequency shifter, decimator, pitch shift, reverb 1, and overdrive. So we can select any of those, and you can host one effect per slot, again for a total of 10. Once you found an effect, let's say we want to just use this low pass filter here, we've got this big, beautiful LFO / MSEG thing here in the center. So we can double click to add points, we can adjust the curve, we can remove points, we can change the curve type. So if we go in here, we can change this to like a sine wave or something super funky. We can randomize this, we can add swing, we can change the grid length, we can choose snapping on or off. There's a couple of preset shapes, so we could go in here and choose something like that. There's a couple more hidden under the More menu, and within the menu, you get some options to save the shape, copy the envelope shape, copy the sequence, clear the effect, zoom in or zoom out. So let's just clear that and maybe say we want to do something about like this. Hooray, and we've built a quick little low pass effect. With the low pass effect selected, we've now got the main controls down here in the center. So we've got a ladder low pass, we can go back in here and choose a different type. We've got a slope, so we've got 6, 12, 18, and 24 decibels per octave. Here we can control the amount of modulation coming from the MSEG, so if I increase this, we'll see the filter starts to move around. We can increase the resonance. We've even got an audio envelope here, so we can have the incoming signal modulate the cutoff as well, maybe something about like that. Then down in the center, we have a glide, which will smooth out the movement from the MSEG if things are sounding a bit too steppy or snappy, a stereo effect, which offsets the left and right signal, which can be really fun, a gain control, and a mix control. Now, mind you, this is all per slot, so we could blend individual slots in parallel or even automate this in the DAW. Up here at the top as well, there's options to make this unipolar, bipolar, or in some cases, even set this to a specific frequency. That can be really useful for things like the comb filter if you're going for like an interesting resonator effect. There's retriggering options based on audio or MIDI sequence. We've got the speed control here, so this is the rate of the sequence. We can do regular notes, dotted notes, triplets, or more unusual things. Then we've got a sync and a DAW phase lock control over on the left-hand side. Moving over to the right side here, we've got the master section, which has a drive, a compressor, and a clean bass option, as well as a master output gain and a master output mix, which is really handy because we could automate this in the track to bring it in only on like a drum fill, or only in the drop, or blend it in parallel, or whatever you want to do. So the drive, we've got a drive control. We can route the drive into the effects or the effects into the drive. We have a master tone control, and then we have several drive options here. So this is just a couple different types of drive and stuff, which is pretty cool. Then the compressor, we've got just the amount of compression, and there are several different compression algorithms within there that you can use to start totally crushing and killing your tracks. Other than that, there's the clean bass option here, which allows us to high pass everything going through the effect. That way you can leave the low end untouched. So that's useful if you're using this for like weird bass design or something. Then we've got the macros up here at the top. You can click a macro pencil and then assign it to a parameter, and then we can click to name that. So we could just call this cutoff or something, and we're done. So with this setup, let's just set the mix to 0, and it's pretty easy to take a basic drum break like this and turn it into this. Now, that's all well and good, but the real fun starts to come in with the sequencer here. So the sequencer, we can hit play to enable it, and what we can do is set a sequence length. Let's maybe do something like that. We could determine the sequence speed. Let's set that to, I guess, 16ths, and then we can use this grid to add the effect only on that step. So let's go in and add a couple more effects here. Let's maybe do something like the comb filter, ring mod, and a phaser, and let's just randomize these a bit for good measure, get something a bit more spicy and weird going on. So we could go in and just click in kind of randomly here, and maybe not so many effects. And now we can take that drum break from this and turn it into this. So that is super fun and super interesting. Another cool thing to know about all this is it can actually be MIDI triggered. So if we turn on MIDI mode here, we'll see this is set to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Now this is awesome because you can use your MIDI controller to feed this plugin and then control the effect per slot. And this is also cool, I think, because if you're maybe doing like a live DJ thing or whatever, you could use this on your Master Effects bus to create some cool transitions and sweeps and bleeps and bloops and glitches and whatnot. Another really nice thing about this plugin, I think, though, is that it has a lot of presets, including some designed by ya boy right here. This makes this really easy because there's a lot of different stuff categorized nicely. We've got drum processors, FX designers, fills and edits, filters, flangers, glitch, lo-fi, MIDI triggered stuff, mix tools, multi-effects, pitch and musical, retriggered reverbs, sequences, and a whole bunch of stuff, and then some artist presets. We've got Grouch in here, which is pretty cool, Neurodriver. We've got Venus Theory, and I mean, there's just a ton of different effects in here. So if we pull up, let's say, this Break Freak preset here on this drum thing, let's see what that sounds like. And I think that is what makes this plugin so exciting. So enough babbling about features and stuff. I think it's better to simply let the plugin speak for itself. So here I've created a little track, or I guess more of an intro and then like a drop or something. And this whole thing took me maybe 15 minutes. And I think most of that was just selecting samples. Here on the mix, I've got a couple different instances of Infiltrator. I've got it on both of the drums. I've got it on the percussion loop here. I've got it on the instrument bus. I've got it on the bass bus. I've got another one on one of the basses. Then I've got one on the delay processed thing down here, which is like a drum fill, and then one more on the vocals. Now, I think it would be best to just show this off by letting you hear a before and after. And this is simply using a bunch of presets. I don't really know that I programmed anything other than maybe altering the sequences on these very slightly, so it was super straightforward to do. Let's take a listen to the before.
Go. Yeah.
So not super interesting and exciting. And now let's take a listen to after. Let's bring in all of these here. And I think this really demonstrates why this plugin is so much fun, because with just a couple of presets and maybe a few minutes of your time throwing it on a couple tracks, we could take that same thing and turn it into this.
Yeah.
And that is the power of Infiltrator. And there you have it, a look at the new Infiltrator plugin from Devious Machines. I think this plugin is super fun, and I'm very glad I can actually start showing it here on the channel now. It has been very hard for me to resist showing this on a live stream or in a video previously, because I've been using this thing a whole lot to make these really cool glitchy textures and just add something a bit more interesting without having to do all the tedious little automating work and stuff that's normally required to get these kind of results. Infiltrator is available right now, so if you want to check it out or check out more of the plugins from Devious Machines, you can find more information with the link down in the description. Big thanks again to Devious Machines for sponsoring today's video as well. What do you think of Infiltrator? Do you know any other cool glitch plugins I might like? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I hope this inspires you to get out there and make something awesome. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.